For this enrichment, we're going to take the distributive property a step further. So we're going to look at how we can use that to do mental math, and this might be something that you already do in your head, but you don't realize. This is also something that you're going to see a lot on ALEC, so it's good to practice. So what we do is we use the distributive property to kind of break down a number to make it easier to do. For example, I don't know my multiples of 125 by heart, so I'm going to break it down into things that are easier for me to do in my head. So I'm going to take my 4 on the outside, and I'm going to break 125 into two numbers that add to 125. Immediately, I think of it's made up of 125. Technically, you can do other things, but especially because this is a really high number, it's going to be hard if you make it more complicated. So 100s, those are easy to multiply by, and 25s, that's like counting quarters. So again, remembering we're taking this number on the outside, the 4, and multiplying it by each term on the inside. So 4 times the first number, which is 100, plus 4 times the second number, which is 25. So 4 times 100 is 400, plus 4 times 25 is 100, because 4 quarters make $1. And then this is a lot easier to add up in our head. 400 plus 100 is 500. All right, number 2. Again, you might know some multiples of 12, but when we're doing 18 times 12, it's probably not something that you have memorized. So again, we want to break this up. 18 times 12 broken up somehow. When I look at it, just like how we pulled the 100 out of this 3-digit number, I'm going to pull the 10 out of this 2-digit. So 10 plus 2 gives us 12. It's a lot easier to multiply by 10 than by 12s. So now we're going to distribute. 18 times the first number of 10 plus 18 times the second number of 2. Multiplying by 10 is pretty easy. 18 times 1 is 18 plus a 0 is 180. And then 18 times 2, maybe you can do it in your head. If you need to use your multiplication chart, you can. 18 times 2 is 36. And then add. If you can add in your head, great. If you need to write it down on the side of the paper, go ahead and do that. 0 plus 6 is 6. 8 plus 3 is 11. Carry the 1. We get 216. All right, 43 times 11. Again, I don't know my multiples of 43, so I'm going to break this down. Just like we did with the 12, we broke it to 10 and 2. The 11, I'm going to break it into 10 and 1. So we're distributing 43 times the first number of 10 plus 43 times the first number of 1. Both of these are relatively easy numbers to multiply by. 43 times 10, well, 43 times 1 is 43, plus a 0 is 430. And then 43 times 1 is just 43. And then we're adding them together. Maybe you can do it in your head and realize that this is 473. If not, you can do it on the side. And you'll get the same thing. All right, so this one, number 4, is a little bit different. You could still do it as addition, so you could break this down into 90 plus 9. But I actually like doing it with subtraction. 99 is really close to 100. And 100 is really easy to multiply by. So I'm going to multiply it by 100, but since 100 is higher, we need to take away the value. Well, to get from 99 to 100, it's 1. So we're going to take away 1. 100 minus 1 is 99. Now this is much easier to multiply. 8 times 100 minus 8 times 1. Multiplying by 100 and multiplying by 1 is a lot easier than 99. 8 times 100 is 800 minus 8 times 1 is 8. And then subtract. If you can do it in your head, awesome. That's 792. If not, do it on the side. you would borrow. And get the same answer. All right, 3 times 5.7. Same thing, we can apply this with decimals. So how I've kind of been breaking it down, I'm using this place value and this place value, this place value and this place value. Same thing that applies here for decimals. I'm taking this number 3 on the outside and I'm gonna break it down for the whole number value and the decimal value. So 5 plus the decimal value of 0.7. So we are taking the 3 times the 5 plus 3 times 0.7. 3 times 5 is pretty easy to do. That's 15. The 3 times 0.7 is a little bit trickier, but if we ignore the decimal, 3 times 7 is 21. Then we had one decimal value, so there's going to be one decimal value in our answer. So we're doing 15 plus 2.1. Maybe you can do it in your head and realize that that's 17.1. Otherwise, when we're adding decimals, we line up the decimals and add. And you get the same thing. Last one, again, breaking it down with these decimal values. So, taking the 9, and we're going to break down our decimals based on place value. So 5 plus 0.4. So we're going to multiply the 9 times 5, and we're going to multiply the 9 times 0.4. Then we calculate 9 times 5 is 45. Plus, again, the decimals, we ignore the decimal value. 9 times 4 is 36. There was one number to the right of the decimal, so there's going to be one number to the right of the decimal here. And then we add 45 plus 3.6 is 48.6. If you couldn't do it in your head, you can do it over here. Just make sure to line up the decimals and you get the same answer.